Good morning, and thank you for joining us once again this morning. It's been a beautiful week so far, and then today's Tuesday. I hope you had a wonderful night rest. We're transmitting live from the economic capital of West Africa, Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much. Shegundinola Adeyemi is my name, and you are welcome to U45 Morning Show.
Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Africans. Good morning, Lagosians. It's good to be here in the U45 Morning Show. I am Osage Solomon.
All right, and without wasting much of our time, we will delve straight into the paper reviews. Let's see what the dailies are saying. How has it been? How are we faring? Because as a nation, the only place we get information is from the media houses, and then most of us from the dailies. So we'll start with today's paper. Let's start with the Tribune. All right, Nigerian Tribune. The front burner says Western liberal democracy not working in Africa. Obasanjo says that, and you find that on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Another says Supreme Court to hear Lagos Ekiti suit against federal government, 34 other states over lottery control. In March, you find that on page 28. And also Obaseki to lead Delta, Ondo, Ekiti to repurchase shares, reorganize BEDC to solve electricity crisis. You find that on page 4. And also 110 million children in Nigeria at risk, more vulnerable to climate change. That one was made known by UNICEF, and you can find that on page 8. Read more about it. Subsidy removal. Federal government records over 1 trillion naira monthly revenue inflow. Wale Edo. You can find that on page 2. And also, APC set to take over Plateau Assembly from PDP. CBN postpones MPC meeting again. You find that on page 7. An appeal court affirms Alia as governor of Benue State. You find that on page 7. Also, impeachment. Akeredolu's Ayedatiwa's supporters planned protest in Ondo. You find that on page 16, and I really want to talk about this Akeredolu issue because if you're not functioning as a number one citizen of a state, as a governor of a state, if you're not functioning, I mean, it is honorable to resign because the reason you're there is to serve the people. And if you are to serve the people, to work in the office you have you've been elected, then I think it is honorable to just resign and let somebody who is more capable do it. But what we find in Nigeria is that nobody wants to let go of power.
Yeah, they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think Nigerians, especially the politicians, they're power driven. You get, we don't see, I mean, when it comes to our integrity and our legacies, we don't see African leaders, Nigerian leaders come out to say, I am indicted, hence I'm going to step down. This is too much for my integrity. We don't care about our reputation. So you see a governor, a leader in Nigeria being dragged for certain actions that they did not do, or inactions, and they just sit there comfortably. Well, in the Western world, we don't see the same. They care about their reputation. When a man in power is being indicted in whatsoever form, the first thing they do is to honorably step down while the case is still, being investigated. Yeah. But here we sit down knowing that nothing may happen, no shaking, even when you are guilty.
Yeah.
So that's what we're talking about, and it starts from the top. Anyways, we'll continue with our newspaper review and straight to the most widely read newspaper in Nigeria, the Punch newspaper. The main headline says, reps probe 447 billion naira COVID-19 spendings. Summon 83 MDAs. The writer says lawmakers allege mismanagement of funds from 2020 to 2022, demands accountability. Another writer says panel plans 6-day grilling of MDA's chief account, finance and procurement officers. I think I like this, Shegun. But again, I just hope it's not going to be one of those many cases where the reps will call people and it will be all talk, and nothing is eventually done.
Now the thing is, don't take my word for it, but I have a feeling that nothing is going to come out of this.
Really sad. I mean, I understand your concerns because we have seen it happen over and over again. I just hope this time around justice will be served, because this is a lot of money. 447 billion. If you remember COVID, a lot of people were grounded, and some of these monies were meant to, alleviate poverty and the sufferings of the people.
To be fair enough, the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, former president, really tried, in the sense that the COVID funds, they gave out not grants but loan to some individuals. I know like 4 people that got that, from 200,000 to 500,000 to 1 million. They gave it out, but it was more in the northern part of Nigeria, but few people got in the southern part, in the western part, in the eastern part. So they tried. They should be able to account for it, because they did that which they are meant to do with it. But then there's always corruption. There's always an iota of corruption. You give out 800,000 naira, they disburse 500,000 and then keep 300,000 to themselves. I know that kind of thing would have played out, but to say they did not do the assignment they were tasked with, I wouldn't say that is totally right, but I know they did something.
Okay, we saw what they also did with the palliatives, but I'm not going to talk about that now. I'm still on the front page of Punch newspaper. It says Tinubu woos G20 investors, FAC meets over multiple taxation, and that's on page 19 of the Punch newspaper. Still on the Punch newspaper, Osun CJ, court workers protests, assembly lists scenes, and that's on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. BRT users lament shortage of buses, long queues, page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And another story says Israel Hamas, women, children carry war burden, families await hostages, page 3 of the Punch newspaper. Sadly, whenever there's war, the biggest victims are women and children. The whole world is frowning at what's happening at Israel Hamas. It started right before our eyes, and see what it has generated into. Shegun.
Destroying so many lives and properties. And when a war lasts for more than a week or a month, then some set of people,
some cabal,
a set of people are benefiting from it.
Absolutely.
So this Hamas-Israel war, some guys are somewhere silently benefiting, and I think it's not good for humanity. It's not good for humanity. You're destroying properties someone had labored for, maybe for over 30 years, some 50 years, and time for them to relax, and all of this is befalling upon them. That means they have to go back to square one, and people who are of advanced age, they can't do anything anymore, so they have to be dependent. So it's not a good
war
good
is
thing.
really devastating on the economy and on the people, especially for women and children.
And on the BRT issue, I would like to look. I think we have enough BRT buses, right, in Lagos. The problem is they are not well planned for instance, you know the areas that are well populated, right? Take the Ikorodu axis, for instance, Oshodi, Ikeja. Put, like, let's say you have 1,000 BRTs, schedule them, schedule the timing, so that if you miss the first one, you miss the second one. So the only problem we're having is the gridlocks. So when one leaves at 7 a.m., he can't get back for 8. Because leaving at 7 meaning that you are going to be stuck in traffic for another 2 hours. So when everything leaves, the ones that ought to come back, return to base to pick up another set, will still be stuck in traffic. So if they can sort out the
logistics.
Yes, and then I think we have enough. We have enough already. We have enough.
Well, Lagosians are saying that we don't have enough. I mean, because of probably what you just explained. They are wondering why when the BRT leaves, and it takes forever for another one to come
back.
Wrapping up on the Punch newspaper, it says Obaseki's deputy joins governor race and plans campaign. Page 7. Any suspends Wema Bank's arbitration on OPL and 245 disputes. And finally, on the Punch newspaper, I said presidency fumes tackles Obasanjo over democracy comment.
Okay.
I think you read it in your when you were taking the Nigerian Tribune. It's when Obasanjo said that Western and liberal democracy is not working in Africa.
Moving on, but should be told, it's not working.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why the presidency is reacting. It's okay.
All right, moving on. The Daily Independent says, the front burner says, telcos bemoan profit deep amid volatile economy. And the writer says, lose over 5 million subscribers in 8 months. Now, if you go to page 29, this same thing, Western democracy not working for Africa. Obasanjo says it's not working. Also in page 29, snatching opposition's mandates inimical to democracy. That was said by Atiku. And on page 6, brother queries DSS refusal to allow family visit Nnamdi Kanu. And the writer says, raises fresh concern over his health. Now, my problem with DSS is, why do they keep flouting court orders? I don't understand. They are like, you can't talk to them. It's not in a country where we have rule of law, where we have lawyers, judges, and all of these things is still happening. All right, moving on to page 7. Police refute assassination attempt on Rivers factional speaker. And also, crisis rocks aviation union election as aggrieved parties threaten court action. You find that on page 6. I read it before. Appeal court upholds Benue State governor election. You find that on page 26 as well. This one says federal government records over 1 trillion naira monthly revenue from subsidy removal. Yes, we've spoken about that before. Yeah. So now some people ask, if you're able to do this, how come we're not seeing the effect? We're not seeing the benefits of all of these things.
Exactly.
Well, I know that the federal government will have their way. And this one says, editors confirm urges federal government to reduce deafening anxiety amongst Nigerians, because everyone is lamenting the price of commodities, price of everything is going up, and people are really suffering. They're struggling to meet up, and then the yellow tie season is just around the corner. Yeah. How are they going to survive? Well, that's that on Daily Independent.
And straight to the Vanguard. The main headline says, unease in financial markets as CBN's MPC meeting fails to hold, on page 5 of the Vanguard. Still on the Vanguard, this Obasanjo story is there. Page 10, democracy has failed in Africa, Obasanjo. And on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper, it says, subsidy removal, federal government records over 1.1 trillion naira monthly revenue. That's a lot of money, according to Wale Edun. Still on the Punch newspaper, the Vanguard newspaper, it says 4 days after appeal court yet to release CTC of Kanu's judgment, NNP. It's time for a political reform, Labour Party, page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. APC's snatch, grab and run agenda inimical to democracy. Article said that. We read it in the other newspaper, page 8. Banks' income tax rises 132% to 311 billion naira in 9 months. Lots of money for the banks. Economic recovery. Editors Confab urges federal government to reduce deafening anxiety among Nigerians. Page 8 of the Vanguard. And finally on the Vanguard it says, Tinubu to German investors, Nigeria has ingredients to become modern economy. Page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper.
Okay, let's move straight down to this day. The front runner is quite hilarious. Buhari, I did my best. Not sure if expected results were achieved. Okay, yeah, well, he did his best, but
Yeah.
Not sure if expected results were met. Expected results were not met. If you ask every Nigerian.
I think that answers it because, I mean, he is not sure if expected result they are partially met. You would have said partially met. If you have goals and you're able to hit, if you have 100%, are you able to hit 80% of your goal? You've
done well.
Exactly. You'll be confident to say that I was able to achieve 80% of my goal.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Falana, it's dangerous for judiciary to sanction 165,000 voters for electoral officers' mistakes. Yeah.
I'm Shegu, sorry, before you continue with what Falana said, I just looking at the writer of what the former president has said. He said the former president admits that his administration must have been hijacked. And then he also explains why the Naira redesign policy was introduced. But, I mean, if for the president to come out to say that
he was hijacked,
his presidency was hijacked, his administration, that says a lot.
So that means if you're in power, you don't really know what's happening until you come out of power, until you resign. Because if he's just realizing now that his administration was hijacked, that means when he was on seat, when he was in power, he did not pay attention to it, so he did not know.
We're talking about the presidency for 8 years, and he has no clue that his administration was hijacked. This is...
all right, moving on. In Berlin, Tinubu pushes for investment in Nigeria's power, rail, transport sectors. And then the writer says, tells investors highly skilled Nigerians are country's greatest assets. Yes, we are highly skilled.
Absolutely, I
we
agree.
are the country's greatest assets. But then the administration, the past administration, did their best. And I'm pretty sure this current administration will try to also pull things in place. Federal government, Federation account received average of 1 trillion naira monthly inflow since subsidy removal. That is making headlines on all the dailies this morning. Meeting on human capital development program. That's where the Matiku, the Shetima and Dangote, they're all meeting for this this development. All right, guys, that's as much as we can take today on the dailies. We will go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll continue. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
We need to remove him, otherwise we are going to be in trouble. You must kill him today, not tomorrow. Today!
There's a handsome prize on your head. And if you can top it, you walk free.
She's even awake. She's awake?
Will you stop that? And don't you dare repeat that again.
What is she doing?
I don't know.
My son is nowhere to be found and you asked me to relax. I can't.
So we're not going to eat?
You have to eat.
Look at you. So you actually want to eat that food? The way this food is smelling, I think it's really going to be delicious.
Oh my son! Oh my son!
What are you doing here?
I will not let you send her out.
She's your rival, you know.
I know she's your wife, and I know it's not right for you to treat her like that.
You heard me. Send yourself out before I come back to this house.
High Chief Major General James. Good evening.
What is good about this evening? Huh?
What happened now?
Don't mind them. You're not going anywhere. You stay.
Please. Please. What are you doing out of bed? You could have called me.
I'm not the father of a thief. Told it. And I swear, he's going to rot in jail.
It's okay, baby.
It's not okay.
Hello?
Family ties, a thorn in the flesh.
In peace with...
I'm 25.
Yay! 25 years.
When people's your favorite.
Hi, Ajani.
Yes, guy.
There is problem in the house. Your brother wife, the carry man, come house.
Lie. It did not go happen. My brother wife. See, now me supposed to inherit that woman. Oh.
Baby Julius.
Baby
Baby.
Wait. I've been expecting this.
The man is...
I've been expecting this.
Starring actors.
It's Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru, your host with the most. Ricky is a virgin.
Why are you virginity?
I like food and I eat a lot and you don't really think my body.
Where's the eating?
You can't be Filipina.
Philomena. Paula. Tunde.
Tunde no.
Like I tell people, it's for you to be great in whatever you do. You have to stay humble and believe that you are a learner.
Have you ever been asked to play a role?
Bojo, and you're watching Humor Hangout with Kofi the Guru.
The second half. Revolution! It's lights out and away we go. Bottas gets away well. He's alongside Lewis Hamilton and he's making good progress. Definitely in the look here. They play the spinner zone. Sebastian Vettel touching the all way through. Will they retire from...
You're welcome back to You for the 5 Morning Show, and thank you for staying tuned. Today we will be looking at fintech loan sharks Nigeria cyberbullying traps customers in debt. That's what we'll be looking at today. That's the topic for today. And then to talk more on this, we have our in-house analyst, Olusesan, will be joining us. Solomon, fintechs problem in Nigeria. So many people committed suicide because of the same loan app companies.
Well, when it comes to loan apps in Nigeria, first of all, I'm going to speak for them. Loan apps have alleviated poverty in many homes, many families, and many individuals. There are some Nigerians that are being sustained by these loan apps, you know, and so they have their own benefits in our society. But unfortunately, I think Nigerians are abusing loan apps. I think
Why do you think so?
Because Nigerians are struggling to meet the essence of loan apps is to be able to. Number one, it's not for ijekuje. It's not for you to eat with.
Yeah.
It is to aid your business, your idea. You know, it's not for you to get a loan and then you go and use it to feed your family. They are looking at how are you going to pay back. Because usually they'll ask you, what do you want to use it for? If you tell them that you want to use it to feed your family, of course they will not give it to you now. Again, so Nigerians would lie that they want to use the loan app for a business or for that would generate income. Unfortunately, they can barely feed. So they use that money to eat.
Okay,
and then they struggle to pay back.
But then, do you know that these loan apps, when you see their adverts on TVs, billboards, it says, come and take loan of up to 5 million naira from 20,000 naira up to 5 million naira. Now, what kind of business do I possibly want to do with 30,000 or 50,000 naira?
Check for a petty trader who is selling pure water, who is selling minerals. I mean, that money, no matter how little, it can aid her business. When we mention loan, from the word loan, it's not grant. It's not dash, it's loan. You're supposed to invest it, and then from the profits, you pay back
Okay,
the debt.
let me cut you right there. Olusegun is joining us virtually today. Olusegun, good morning.
No, same.
Good morning, Olusegun.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Today we're looking at the fintech loan sharks in Nigeria, their cyberbullying, and then the trap customer in debt. What can you say to that? Have you do you know someone close to you that has experienced this cyberbullying from these loan apps companies?
You see, this issue of cyberbullying and people just going their route when they borrow money to be harassed that you don't even know who and who when they borrow money is something that's really devastating. You just see people send you text and say that this person is owing and you need to make up the payment. Otherwise, this and that will happen. I think it's an ignorance on the part of the companies who are supposed to do due diligence, passing the buck even to innocent people. But be that it's me, we have seen CBN come on board.
So much that they can do to check those excesses, of which I believe that is improving, not like we used to have it in those days.
Recoup your money back from the people that have taken this loan. What are the possible steps that they can take? Yes, it has its own downside, its own bad side, calling different people all sort of people, and then go as far as doing an obituary poster for your customers. Now, what are the ways that they can use in recouping their money back? Because their main aim is to, like Solomon rightly said,
Some school of thoughts believe the major challenges confronting Nigeria as a nation is caused by poor leadership. How true is this? You and I can actually put government into tools to deliver the dividends of democracy. Join us every Saturday by 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Let us look at the issues confronting us as a nation. Together we talk heads. Nigeria can be great again. I'm Adenike Oweye Ajiboye. Keep it date.
What up,
up, guys? How is your day going? How are you doing this? I want to believe that you're having fun, right? This bright and sunny day. You know that once you see this duo on your TV screen, we're here to serve you some entertainment.
And of course, entertaining gist coupled with good music won't hurt anybody, right? So here on Super Lunch, we get to entertain you, educate you on recent happenings in the world of entertainment. I am your girl, Eva Grace.
And I am Shegun Delala Adeyemi, the Duke of your airwaves. You know how it is. We serve you good entertainment Mondays all through to Fridays. And that's how we do. We'll take you on a smooth ride of entertainment. So don't go nowhere. Join us every Mondays to Fridays. We love you guys.
There's no place for pretense. I can't watch you stand there. Oh no.
Ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ó ta lẹ́nu, ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Yusuf Mọ́rúnsọ́lá ni orúkọ ti tèmi Funky ọmọ ẹ̀lẹ̀ tó gbásìkì tó dùn tó kí tó yí gbogbo. Ẹ pa àti gbogbo ọjọ́ Saturday 1 to 2 fún ètò tó ga jù. Ẹ má miss ẹ̀, ó ga jù lẹ́tò. Ẹ pàdé mi, ó ṣàprápra.
Lẹ́nu ó pọ̀ lẹ́nu, ó dùn lẹ́nu. Come on, I cannot do.
Welcome to Naija Plus. Make you not touch that there, make your finger for no. Wetin be your plan for your conscience? Not be say fowl not plan to fly you, but the power no carry am. As matter dey shele for inside Naija, make yourself chook your mouth, make we build our country. Not be every time we go talk things bad. Come out for that corner before mosquito bite your tortoise. Oya, e get as e happen for your area and you want make plenty eyes see and make you hear and make you for reach authority. You get video of the scene? Send am sharp sharp. Before I forget, now top super screen with there and my name now Mr. Peace. That MC with a biggie swag. Naija na for everybody. Make you not touch that there, make your finger for no.
Reach to the sky, ladies and gentlemen!
Demand attitude.
I am Salahuddin.
Demand excitement. Demand action.
Thank you for staying tuned. You're welcome to U45 Morning Show. Before we went for that break, we had Olusegun joining us virtually, but now he's live in the studio. So for a smooth ride, we will be still talking about the loan app issue in Nigeria. All right, guys, joining us is Olusegun. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me this morning, and my sincere apology. I got stuck in the traffic, and that I can attribute to the indiscipline on the part of we the citizen. This time around, I won't put it to the government. At Ojota, I think government needs to be decisive on what to be done. People are just crossing the road when you have two pedestrian bridges that have been built there with taxpayers' money. And you ask yourself the question, do you need to cross or you need to climb the bridge so that we can have free flow of activity? I think we need to revisit back those things that we do those days where cars will be there when you're called to do community service. Absolutely. And you can allow free flow of traffic. At that point, you don't need to put the barricades, but let the law enforcement do their work. You can imagine loss of productive time that you waste on traffic. Most of the time it boosts, but I don't see any other thing happening there but the human trafficking, which needs to, we're calling on the Ministry of Transportation, the CAI, the concerned agency to see what they can do to that.
Yeah, that's true. And then I don't know, but I feel the kind of penalties they put out is not realistic, because you say if you cross the road you pay 50,000 naira fine. If you dump refuse here, you pay 50,000 naira fine. Look, make it community service like you have said, or 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. With that, it's easier to generate 5,000 naira from one person compared to 50,000 naira.
But where I won't support you, you need to put the penalty high, exactly, so that it will serve as discouragement. You know, for when you know you're going to pay, if you know it's 10,000, I will definitely commit the crime. I'll dip my hand and get that done.
Which is good. It's a means of.
It's not, because the essence is not to generate, it's to deter you. It's to deter you from doing it. Exactly. Because anything, if I know I can afford to pay the money, and indiscriminate driving come and I got knocked down, you've lost a life. But we don't even want you to cross. So even if you are saying 50,000 to me is cheap, make it 100. So if you cannot pay the 100,000, you are going to do community service that will be commensurate to that work. So you can imagine minimum wage is how much? 30,000. So that means if they are putting a fine of 100,000, so 3 months you'll be doing community service, not just 1 week. So you'll be working for free. You are not collecting anything, but you are actually, so everybody will say, I don't want to do that, which will serve as deterrent. Not when you put some of these fines to be cheap, there are some people that will intentionally commit that and say, what is it? Is it not 20,000? Is it not 10,000? Please take your money. I follow them. Let me go. Take your money, and that's why when you want to even pay some of those penalties for like traffic issues, they stress you to the extent that they might ask you to go and pay a tepe, and you committed the offense. So your whole day is wasted. So you won't want to do that. So we should not make it easier for people to commit. I wish I'm going to get across to some of the people in the agency before the end of the day. They should revert back to status quo. Ojota used to be a place where you will not be able to cross.
Yes, free flow of
But these days, people have to match their break, and in fact, people are catwalking as if it's a normal thing for them to cross. So Lagos State government should do something about that.
Hopefully they will do that. So back to fintech loan sharks in Nigeria. Now, I was asking the other time, like, what are the ways they can use to recoup their money? Yes, they are in for business. They have to make profit, right? So, and then what are the ways to recoup? Because when it is time for payment, for the creditors, the debtors to pay back, it becomes challenging. And I guess that's the reason they keep calling different people that so person is owing us, do obituary posters. What are the ways they can, instead of going that route, is there another route they can follow to recoup?
First and foremost, don't let me talk in the aspect of business. I'll go religious. They say when the foundation is wrong, what would the righteous do? The foundation at which you are even giving out the loan is wrong, because you must know your customer. Why is it that most loan from the bank hardly goes to bad debt? We still have bad debt, which possibly people beat you to it. But you must be seen to have carried out your due diligence before you even give out the loan. I was listening to you on some of the tricks people use. You claim you have a business, meanwhile you just want to use that money to survive, you know. And it's a business venture. I've actually, you know, get myself involved and bought my fingers because people will deceive you to hit. Area, you know, the fintech, what they don't do is they don't have guarantor. In the bank, there is a guarantor to stand the gap. When I was there, I did not go the route of fintech. I go the traditional way of having a guarantor. And that guarantor is not something like those ones that the fintech will have to invest your data on your phone and be calling everybody, sending messages to them. Somebody must be committed who is aware that you actually collected that loan. You know, and in case you default, he signs a document. When you sign the document, you cannot claim ignorance that the person don't know. So you can use that to actually, if the person is defaulting, this other person who is standing as guarantor, what that implies is that even if he defaults, hold me responsible. That is the traditional way of doing things. And I think we need to go, even in as much as we are in the field, that can be introduced. So you can introduce like 2 layers to say when you apply for loan, plug in your guarantors actually validate that it's aware that you are collecting the loan. When you default, the guarantor place on hold certain amounts. As you are repaying back, is reducing his liability that he has committed even to the loan company, and with that you can get your money. A lot of people play pranks on the financial institution, most especially this fintech. They know they don't need the money for anything, but because there is no due diligence, maybe look at your inflow for 2-3 months, which I can decide if I need to play pranks. Ask Solomon to give me some money and I'll put in my account for 2-3 months. But I know definitely I want to go and use it to marry the 4th and 5th wives, you know, that will stay within you. And once you just get there, you start telling them the economy is not good, the economy is bad. But before you took was really not viable. But you actually put those measures. In fact, some people will do fantastic cash flow. Paperwork is different from reality. And that's why you must get involved. It's fundamental that you even understand the business that person is doing so that you can manage your risk. Somebody that is into volatile business to do because you want to make more revenue. So I think going back to drawing board, they should be traditional about it rather than just investing everybody's number and say we'll call, we'll send text message, we'll blacklist you. Have someone who has a commitment, who has understanding that that person is taking a loan and is putting a stake down. So IT will help us. So you can have a link to say in case you default, these are steps that we need to take rather than the blanket check that people don't even know. At that point, you can't claim that I don't know. But when you send text message to me that somebody is owing you, do I know when he collected the money? So why are you actually knocking at my door now that he has actually defaulted? So I think that's the way we can go.
Well, I think I agree with you, but there's something else that Nigerians are talking about, Sheson. Now, these loan apps send into their phones without their knowledge, and then they start sending messages to their contacts, which is not part of the terms of agreement. So I think from the beginning, I think there's a message. What's going on now? We are yet to get your repayment. If you don't have all the money, make part payment before 4 p.m. We don't like calling or sending messages to contacts. So please do the needful and don't let us resort to taking drastic measures. I want to address the ways at which they freely have access to people's contacts. I mean, where is the privacy? A lot of Nigerians are not comfortable with this.
Solomon, there is breach of confidentiality, which we must say. Because at the time of applying for the loan, you see, I blame the 2 parties. Why? The other party is seeing it as free funds because they are not asking for collateral, they are not asking for guarantor, anything. Sure. And the other party is having it at the back of his mind. No problem. I'm a fintech and I have access. Once I have your number, I have access to your phone. I generate. So there is breach of privacy, which I think of late I've seen jingles from CBN, you know, discouraging people of patronizing some of those fintech that have not been registered, because some of them are really not in the net of the regulators. And that's why they do some of those things. They just do it because they have free funds to play around with, and when they are not getting it, because there are rules guiding everything, and one of it, even if it's breaching the law, you are not supposed to actually divert into the person's privacy. So, but majority of the people that carry this out are people that are not registered with CBN because they are flouting CBN laws.
All right.
Now, I think the response says X-Credit is a private financial institution fully authorized or licensed by the Federal Republic of Nigeria to operate in synergy with the Nigerian Police Force, EFCC. Hence, we will call the contacts on your phone. We will tag your name, your full name and picture, and post it on all social media platforms describing your identity as a fraudster. I mean, look at this. We will also send to all the security agencies in Nigeria. Be guided. You have from now until. I mean, look at the threats when it comes to. Is this the best way? Like Shegun was asking, is this the best way possible for them to get back their monies?
Not the best way, but for you that you are actually taking the loan, what measures did you put in place to make sure that this does not come your way? I'm sure an average people that pay those things do not get some of this stress, but situation where you default, everybody, they try to use every means.
It's crazy. I have seen obituary. Okay, look at the one that this message sent by a loan app. It said, if you know you don't want to bury your family this year, go and pay up your Naira Plus loan. Now, you will have yourself to blame for their death.
You see, when I blame the regulators. For a lot of people are in the business, not in the net of the regulators, because this is not professional. Exactly. Sincerely speaking, why are you issuing? So if you issue the death threat, who pays your money?
Well, I want to ask a question. Now, if you know the traditional way is you bring guarantor, you bring collateral, and people are unable to get loans from normal commercial banks, so hence the birth of
the fintech.
Yes. So now, if this fintech, this loan app people start requesting for guarantor and
doing it the way traditional banks does it,
would they be business
already? It won't be defeated. We may not go the route of a collateral, but guarantor is key. Who are you sending the message to? So you consider that the people on that person's line are the guarantor. They are valuable people that can call in to order. So if you have 200 of them on that contact that you are sending messages to, what stops you of picking one or two of them to say, provide this? So we may not go the route of collateral to say it's difficult to go that route, but provide one or two, depending on the value we are providing for you, 1 or 2 person that can attest. You see, when you guarantee someone, you are attesting to the credibility of that person, that I know him and it will not default. But in case, the next step for guarantor is in case there is a default, I am on grant. Most of the time when you get engaged in a paid employment, you are asked to bring guarantor. What is not for them, is just for them to be secure, to be sure that the crop of the person they are recruiting has those values, the credential that he claims to. In case we are seeing anything different from it, we owe somebody. And that's why you see when guarantors come on board, they will tell you it must be this person, it must be this person, it must be that person. You know, they put the criteria there. So that when you see, loan is not free funds. And even those that are providing those things, they have cost of capital for it.
True. Now, for a lot of Nigerians, Okay, the message, there are a lot of messages. In fact, there was one I watched, the girls obituary was printed out and thrown out there on the internet.
Yeah, it is.
It also leads to suicidal attempt.
Yes.
It's suicidal because some people, once they can't bear the shame anymore, they tend to just end it all.
You are right, Shegun. There was a time I was called by these loan app people that I should avoid so and so person. And I know that lady. I'm like, someone that I truly respected. That I should avoid her. She's fraudster. I was scared. So immediately I reached out to her. What's going on? I got this message from so and so. She just told me, don't mind it.
Something happened one day, a while back, and then I think someone collected loan from this loan app and defaulted, has not paid. So they sent me a message, the loan app people, and I read it. What's this nonsense? I just moved up. Then they called me and said, do you know so person? Has defaulted. Please tell the person in the next 2 days or 3 days we'll get him arrested. And you, as I just ended the call, I blocked them, blocked the person they said collected.
But did you know the person?
Yeah.
But you don't want yourself to be
let me, the truth of it is we are looking from the perspective of those borrowing the loan. Let's put it on the perspective of those that are providing the funds. You are sending them out of the market when they default because certain questions are being asked, and when you don't need it, don't collect it. I might sound a bit hard, but it's the way to go. When you give them the room to shame you. I've seen instances where actually people defaulted. Even relationship like this, you say, bros, give me 200,000, I'll pay end of the month. It gets to the level people will tell you that how much is the money safe? And that you are disturbing me. How much is it? You are much more than that. As at the time you are borrowing that money, you didn't say give me. You say borrow me. So you can see the intrigues. So if that 200,000 based on our relationship was given to you so that you can salvage the situation, now you are telling me, certain individuals that are not even this fintech app or the loan app goes at length to threaten people personally. So we are looking at it from the side of those that are borrowing. But on the side of the people that are providing the funds, you don't come with deceit to get some fund and you allow those guys to do. Majority of them run into bank debt, bad debt, and that collapse the business. So imagine you working for several years, put some funds together, pay for the license to be providing those services, and after 1 year you are no longer in the business. Your money has gone down the drain. So in as much as I won't support those threats that has to do with life, but they should put those mechanisms in place that from onset, as you are taking the loan, we know who to hold. I can tell you there was a particular cooperative society I managed for several years that has to even do with professionals. And there were issues that people were defaulting. But I do not bother myself because I'm a traditional person. I do my thing I'm an old school to the core, even though they call me Gen Z. But what I do is, you want to get a loan, don't go and bring an outsider. Among the cooperators, give us 2 guarantors. And what those guarantors are doing is that they are using their money to secure your loan. So when you default, I don't have problem. I'll just take out of your own money and put out there. They will be the one running after you. So you can imagine that. So we need to balance it. Not only from the perspective of those that are born and they are issuing out threats. If you don't want them to issue threat, fulfill your obligation. Because most of the time when you default, they don't even charge extra interest.
No, they don't.
This fintech, they don't charge. That means they have a fixed thing that they have done.
Talking about the interest,
exactly.
Don't you think it's rather too high? Don't you think it's rather on the high side? Because I see some go as far as 40%.
Yeah, well, it's optional. You weigh your coin. For every businesses, there are always alternative. You just weigh your coin. If somebody is providing a loan for me at 40%, that means I'm doing a business that I'm getting 100% returns. I will venture into it. You understand? But situation where my margin, which is the average like 20-25, and I'm taking a loan of 30% because I want to satisfy, that means there is something that is fundamentally wrong. Maybe I'm just using that to salvage a situation of which I must bear the cost. So some of those things we need to put it in place in right perspective to know that it is not only on the part of those people that are actually collecting the loan. Those that provide the service to, we must look for a way to protect it. But I feel that rather than going that way of disturbing those that are not even aware when the loan was collected, provide in the app where guarantors will be provided and the person understand that is actually making a commitment. At that point, if I'm a guarantor to someone and you harass me, I asked for it. Because I have the option to refuse to be your guarantor. Absolutely. If you are not credible. Yeah. You know, there are certain people today, if they call me and say, bros, I need you to stand for me, I say no. Even if it's not money, I say no. I'm sorry, I can't. Because you know someone of now, possibly when you give him money and power, it becomes a different person. You that stand as guarantor will now be the one to actually be paying the price, and your name is at stake. So you must have a deeper knowledge of who you are standing as guarantor for, and that's why I feel that the fintech can do it. It's just a plug-in. There are ways that when you apply for loan, it goes to your guarantor. You provide the name. You know what they do at times? Some of these people collecting the loan, they indirectly use you without telling you. They will not notify you that you are their guarantor, but you are my brother now. When I put your name there, tell them that you don't know me. You know that kind of a thing. They indirectly do that. But what you need to do is validate that the person as a fintech company. There are ways. When you borrow, you send maybe a message to the person. Ask the person to check that this person, put the details that it's actually taking loan and you are the guarantor. Click on this if you actually accept. If you reject, and when you come back, if I reject your loan, you go back and say no, your guarantor you provided rejected your application, so look for another guarantor. So that will put sanity into the system. Even if we cannot eradicate it 100%, at least it will minimize that constituting disturbance to those that are supposed to be having free movement.
Helped us to dissect all of this because I mean, they might, maybe they are not even thinking in that direction, because if they were thinking in this direction, they would have find way to do this, because this is a more this is the best way, if you ask me.
Well, for me, I think I'll put the bulk of the blame on our regulators in government. Kickstart their businesses.
But are they registered?
I'm only you are sending me that. Let me go and die. Now we pay the money.
You understand? So I think these regulations needs to come from the federal government and all government agencies, and then working with the type of mechanism put in place by these fintech companies to make sure, because if we look at it, the essence is to alleviate poverty, especially in this period of inflation. A lot of Nigerians are a bad thing. I mean, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing, yeah.
So let's take advantage of it. And yesterday we were talking about leadership. I know people who have changed their lines because of loan. This issue of integrity.
How much is a SIM card? You buy, you break, and buy another one.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today on U45. Olushesan.
There's no reason for you to be happy, but create the happiness. Because one thing is sure, is a passing phase for us. We'll definitely get to the end of it, and the Europe world will come hunting for us as a place to be, like we have in the days of old.
Well, thank you so much. It's a break right now. When we come back, sports will be coming to join us. Once again, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We have Joel Nwakego in the studio. It's time for sport. So, Sporting Joel, what do you have today?
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Sport Training on V45. We have a lot to talk about, but we're going to take this one from. There's a group called KCC, actually Korea Cultural Center they're located in Abuja. And they just took it upon themselves to train secondary school students in Abuja and Lagos in Taekwondo. I think it's a good achievement. It's a good one because we've always complained of having low number of participating in a high number of events in the Olympics and or African Games and all that. So I think the imperative where we look at this issue, I think it's good. It's a major step.
Yes, I think so. And this is what we're talking about: corporate individuals and private organizations to come
They're
in.
actually Koreans.
You see, that's fantastic. Come in and support our sport. This is commendable. Hopefully, we're able to attract more of this type of sponsors.
Hoping that their efforts will not be frustrated. That's another thing. Good initiative. It gets frustrated if they don't
Nigerian
play.
syndrome. What's in for me?
They actually call the Korean Cultural Center located in Abuja. And I think other corporate bodies, venture into this feat, we might get high number of participations, get employed, because what's in the midst of employment? It took a lot of people off the streets and all that.
Absolutely. It is, but would they be allowed to go for Olympics? Because I see that the IOC, not just, it is a sports thing in Nigeria, or it's always happens for events. You have to pay. You have to pay your way in. You drop money for them to select you. For you to be selected, you have to pay. I hope these young lads going for this training, at the end of the day, they will be selected according to their performance, not you having to pay a certain amount for you to be featured in the Olympics.
Yeah, over time we've seen scouting program in football, like the secondary schools, catching them young and all that. I think this is one sport. I think when you bring this kid at an early age, you train them in a lot of different techniques and all that. Splits and stuff, so they can be flexible. So getting them in secondary school level, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing, right? It's fantastic. Now, check back those days. We used to have principal corps in secondary schools. How many of them made it to the national teams?
Yeah. Hey, come on. Everybody can play to be in the national team. Everybody can be in the national team. That's what I believe. Anyway, the issue of Yos Pasero is still, it's a front burner because a lot of people are calling for the head of Yos Pasero. And there's a major story that said why Nigerians cannot sack Yos Pasero. A member of the board of the Nigerian Football Federation, Honorable Insi Essien, just said yesterday, I don't know if my producer can give me that video, he talked about some key issues. He said they weren't the one that employed the coach, Yos Pasero. His regime wasn't the one that employed him. It was Sunday Dare, the previous regime, that employed coach Yos Pasero. And if you happen to sack him right now, you have to pay compensation. So I don't know. I don't know where you got that from.
Paying compensation is not the problem, but who
in front
compensation? It cannot be. You can't fish out. You can't fish out money from government's purse. It's not done. Provision must have been made, right, for him, for his salary.
Yes.
So the person in charge as at then. The reason you did not pay him when you ought to pay him, you pay him from your personal pocket and let everybody move.
This man gets $60,000. I mean, as a coach in Nigeria, he has other employees under him and all that. So that's a lot of money because he has underperformed. If you ask me.
I think in my opinion, I think some sport persons in the NFF are benefiting from Yos Pasero.
Yeah,
and that's why they are playing politics with this, not minding whose horse is whatever. He's underperforming, and you are telling us that because he wasn't employed by this current administration, so we are stuck with him. It's quite unfortunate, if I must say. The NFF and the sport ministry should come together, and if this man is underperforming, then they should do the needful, sack him. Or what do you think, Shegun?
For me, like you have rightly said, is underperforming. It should be sacked, or everyone in Nigeria is clamoring for that. Sack him, sack him, sack him. But
I'll tell you what,
it is shameless.
Yeah.
But I would say rather shameful.
Yes, that's the word.
It is shameful for an organized body to come out and utter such statement. We cannot sack him because we did not employ him.
That's not the reason. They cannot sack him because
that was what the member of the board of
of course, that's what he came to say.
Benefiting.
But we know that the reason he cannot be sacked is because some of them are benefiting from him.
Top-ranking officials are benefiting from it.
Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. And I tell you what, it is quite sad because we have the next game coming up next year in June. So what will the players do? And it gladdened my heart to know that a lot of countries in Africa have employed the service of indigenous coaches and they won laurels for the country. I have examples like the late Mora Farim in Egypt. He has won. Okay, that's the Honorable Inse talking about Yus Pasero there.
The head coach is unfortunate that out of 6 points we have just 2, and we find ourselves in a very precarious situation. Yes, but when you say we should sack, NFF should sack the head coach, we didn't employ him. This regime didn't employ him, and when you think, come to look at it, it was the sport ministry who employed him, and we're supposed to have paid for their salaries, but up to now they've not paid a dime. And so you sack the coaches now. Who pays for compensation? And so that's where we find ourselves. Not a dime has been paid to this coach, who's earning about $70,000 every month. And so if you sack him, you give him responsibilities. Nigeria will also crucify us, but then we're not happy.
What is the solution? What is the thinking of the NFF?
Yeah.
Are you going to respect the man's contract?
Definitely, we have to.
So yeah, kind of a lot of stuff to unpack in the interview. First of all, the part about the NFF not employing Jose Pasero, the current NFF, which is kind of true. Before they got elected in, he already had the job, so that right there is a fact. Then next he says the sports ministry is in charge of paying Jose Pasero, and I think about it, sports ministry, that's government, and you just had an election, a new government came into the country, so the sports ministry is definitely different. The new sports ministry is looking at you like, what are you talking about? I didn't tell you I was gonna pay anybody. So that probably is the issue right there, especially when he talks about the coach not being paid one single salary, and that's crazy right there. I can't support that. I mean, I'm not one of those people who just say, hey, the coach can do what he wants because he's not being paid. No.
Ask me from that video we just watched. I think the federal government, that man should be sacked. The Sunday Diary should be brought back and interrogated. Ahmad Dupinik should be brought back and interrogate so many people, and we have ourselves a way.
Anyway, what you said is correct, because like I said, there are coaches in Africa that have done their country proud, indigenous coaches. I see no reason why we always look out for foreign coaches. We had the likes of Stephen Keshi that did Nigeria proud in 2013, won the Cup of Nations, and other countries like Ghana, and also Egypt. You have the late Murad Fahmy, he won the Cup of Nations as an Egyptian, as the coach. So I see no reason why we keep getting the services of these foreign coaches. We have the likes of Sunday Lisa.
The NFF. What Nigerian coach would you think would be good for the Super Eagles?
We still have coaches also in the NPFL that I think they can, be on the mantle of leadership. Yes, in the Premier League. Okay. You had coaches also like you had the Kennedy Boboye that won the league in Nigeria. He was part of the under-23 coach. But the snag is this. Let me tell you what the problem is. Because the NFF wants somebody they can control, somebody they can push around, somebody that can, allow me to use the word zombie, like we say in the local palace, so they can, call the shots for him, which for me is wrong, because they have the capacity to employ a coach like Pep Guardiola and Arteta. I will have the financial, power, but those guys will not play by they won't play with the NFF. So what are we talking about? So I think it's a big challenge to Nigeria, and I think it's time we need to encourage a lot of our homegrown coaches so they can get on the mantle of leadership and take Nigeria to the El Dorado.
All right. Well, I don't know about Pep Guardiola. I don't know if we are able to pay for his services. But then I know that we have good players, quality players in this country that can make Nigeria proud, untapped. I mean, that's one of the reasons Sunday Olise could not stay. He had to go back. And then I just hope that we can look at our fellow Big coach. So one ex-international.
Yeah, but it's school of thought that believe that being a good player doesn't make you a good coach, and I go by what that word means.
Can even make you a better coach because you have experienced it firsthand, and then going for coaching courses. You definitely will be a better chance because you've experienced it. You know what is at stake.
And I talking about what is at stake. I think it has to be a better vision within the players and the coach, having played the game and be a coach. The likes of Zidane, Ancelotti, even the list of Nkeshi.
Well, we've dwelled so much on all of this. I just hope that the people in charge so much for staying tuned with us. We really appreciate, and we really had fun and learned one or two things on the show today. Joel, final words?
Well, just keep watching Super Screen Television, and yes, Sergio Spacero.
All right, Solomon.
Well, it's been an interesting U45 morning show today, and we pray and hope that those in charge of the regulations when it comes to the loan apps in Nigeria should do the needful. Let there be some type of mechanism to help step down the issues that we're having with these companies, and so that Nigerians can truly benefit and stop receiving death threats from these loan apps.